This is from a chapter in my book, which is called Are You Satisfied Yet? And that is related not to Stevie Wonder, but to Mick Jagger, who I was assigned one day to cover a press conference. And I was quite disturbed that I was covering Mick Jagger when it seemed to me Stevie Wonder should be the one who was the headliner. And so I got to the press conference and I had no questions really for Mick Jagger because I didn't really know that much about him, only that the hit Can't Get No Satisfaction. So at one point when the new press conference was almost over and I hadn't raised the question, I raised my hand and got acknowledged by the Mick Jagger group, the Rolling Stones. One of them pointed to me and said, "You," and I said, "One of your most well-known pieces is Can't Get No Satisfaction. Are you satisfied yet?" Which made the whole bunch of reporters and other people busted out laughing, but it was the only thing I knew to ask because I really didn't know their repertoire, and I was really disgruntled that I was covering them instead of Stevie Wonder, who was opening for them. Anyway, that question and response from Mick Jagger landed up on the evening news on our news program, and also in the Maisel Brothers documentary called, what the heck is it called? Whatever.
Give Me Shelter.
Give Me Shelter. But I'm not going to read that part. As I said, that's the setup for me reading this portion about Stevie Wonder and me. That is, I did feel a deep satisfaction personally and professionally when I had a chance to cover a very different musician. Stevie Wonder in 1973 was to release his new album, Inner Visions. The press had been invited to show up at a designated spot in Midtown Manhattan, and once we got there, we were ushered onto a bus and blindfolded. Not my camera crew, of course, because they were filming everything as the bus driver drove up one street and down another, making a turn here and another turn there. This went on for about 20 minutes, zigzagging around Midtown before the bus stopped and we were ushered off the bus, blindfolded, still not knowing our whereabouts. Someone then led me and the other reporters up a flight of stairs and into a room. We were helped to lower ourselves onto pillows. We sat on the floor and listened to songs from the new album. We were invited to help ourselves to small bowls of fruit and dried nuts and dried fruit, soft drinks, and other treats that had been placed on tables near us. When the album ended, we were told to remove our blindfolds, and there was Stevie in person, in dark glasses, waiting for us to do our individual interviews with him. It was not my first interview with Stevie. He was in New York to do a concert and staying at the Fifth Avenue Hotel the first time I met him. Instead of setting up in his room, my camera crew and I decided to do the interview in Washington Square Park, a Greenwich Village landmark of chess players and amateur musicians in the middle of the New York University campus. With Stevie and me seated on a park bench and the camera rolling, Stevie worked his signature sense of humor and opened the interview by singing a cappella a little song about the Eyewitness News team. He had made it up on the spot. It was clever, poked fun at us, and was right on the money. His interview was a model of how to be totally present in the present. Now, with my blindfold story, as with so many others, I was cutting things close. I had to wrap up the interview, get back to the office, brief the producer, get settled in at my cubicle, write my script before the film was developed and delivered and set up in editing. Those were the days of 16mm film before videotape. As I sat at my desk listening to Stevie's voice on my tape recorder and replaying in my mind the street sounds from the bus ride of the feelings of uncertainty and dependence while I was blindfolded, and the music I had first listened to less than an hour ago, I considered some of the ways I might piece together all the different parts of my story. Finally, I settled on how to tell the story best, with a beginning, a middle, and an end. And in 2.5 minutes, at least that was better than the 2 minutes that the producer had originally allowed me. So I said, please give me just a little more time to let the music play up full, I begged. I need enough time for viewers to get a taste of the new album, I argued. I wanted to put people in my shoes. I wanted them to experience what I had felt when I was blindfolded. I discovered what it was like to trust other people to be my eyes, trust them to help me do things I did every day, like step off a bus, walk along the street, go up a flight of stairs, help I needed to sit down, and the trust I needed to put something in my mouth even when I didn't know what it was. In the course of things, this wasn't a big story. It wasn't hard news or breaking news. It was a story that challenged me to challenge our audience to get them to imagine being blind. An artist had shared his sightless world with me, an artist whom I admired personally. He had given me a chance to experience more than just his music, and now I was trying to pass all that on to an audience and do it in just 2.5 minutes. I had to pay this feeling forward. Something else made that initial meeting memorable. Just before I was to go on the 11 p.m. show and air my Stevie Wonder story, I got a call from his road manager. Turns out he had once lived in the same apartment complex that I lived in, the Dunbar in Harlem, and he needed help. The rented vehicle with all of the band's instruments was missing. I made note of all the information and added it to my script. Someone from the rental company got word of my report and got in touch with the Stevie's road manager, and the vehicle was brought back to the hotel with all of the instruments. According to the rental company, there was some sort of mix-up, and when the vehicle was not returned on time, they stowed it back to their lot. Covering Stevie another time, things didn't turn out so well. I convinced the assignment desk to let me do a piece about the release of Stevie's Secret Life of Plants. The magnificent glass house in the Botanic Garden in the Bronx was dimly lit, crowded, and noisy, great for a press party, but hell for me trying to move around, gather sound bites, and shots of plants in semi-darkness. I tried too hard to tie the songs to some of the plants, of which there were thousands, and my knowledge of even a handful was limited. Almost everything that could go wrong went wrong. The piece aired, but it was a lesson in how not to do something. In the end, most television news stories come down to go out, find out, tell as much as you can of what you learned and what you know. Do it in a way that gets people to pay attention, and do it in less time than it takes to boil an egg. And even with all that, I still found satisfaction, sometimes fleeting, sometimes long-lasting. Thank you.